All right, horns up, fangs out, Metal Summoners, for a very special episode, Tuesday episode of the Metal Summit. We are so super stoked, as always, that you are joining us. We are very, very excited. We will have Father Sebastiaan on very, very shortly, and we are very, very excited to get to spend time with him to talk about all of his goings on. As always, this is your Island of Misfit Toys. You've got myself, and you've also got Angel Alamo joining you this evening, and we are all super duper stoked to rock out and just have a good time. So we appreciate everything. We want to give a congratulations to Psycho Steve on the release. The release, basically, I guess, is correct, of his new website, Psycho Steve Presents. So make sure that you guys are checking that out. And of course, we all love our Empress Bobby Dreyer and everything that he's been doing with BobbyDreyer.com and everything, and Mark Weiss and stuff like that. So we definitely appreciate that. Before we get Father Sebastiaan in, we'll talk a little bit about what's been the goings on. I personally just had a really cool experience. It actually fills in with the episode very well, especially with spooky season. But I was in Hunt Valley, Maryland over the weekend for Monster Mania Con, and that was super duper awesome. I got to meet some people that I've been really wanting to meet, and some people that were just super duper cool. Like, for example, I love The Crow, and if anybody's familiar with the sequels of The Crow, Thomas Jane was there. And most of you are going to know Thomas Jane as the Punisher from the John Travolta version of the Punisher. But Thomas Jane was also in the second Crow movie, so he signed my poster. And I met Elisa Sutherland, who was in the most recent Evil Dead, and that was super duper awesome. And I got to meet Mark Boone Jr. from Sons of Anarchy, but I know him from American Satan and 30 Days of Night and Seven and a bunch of other cool movies. But my big coup de grace is I finally got to meet Corey Feldman from The Lost Boys, from The Goonies, and Friday the 13th, and get him to sign my Lost Boys poster. So I was super duper grateful that that was able to happen, because that was awesome and super duper fun. Angel, what's been going on with you lately, my friend?
Man, working on getting more guests for everybody, which we know we got the 200th episode coming up. We definitely got someone from Art of Anarchy who's going to be our guest. So looking forward to that. And, Kiss is doing the final farewell show. So we're trying to get something together with the cast of Detroit Rock City Film. We reached out to the writer, the director, some of the actors, and just kind of trying to get them together for a reunion.
How cool would that be?
On the Metal Summit. It would be awesome, because, with the final show, I mean, the movie is a good reflection of that era. When, it was, getting Kiss tickets was a priority. You look at the movie Dazed and Confused, the end of the film, the actor tells his football coach, I got to take care of this own priority. You got to get those Aerosmith tickets.
Yes.
So,
who we should reach out to for that Detroit Rock City thing? That would be kind of cool. We should reach out to Lynn Shay. She's been super duper active with everything that she's been doing with like the Insidious movies and stuff. But remember, she played Jam's crazy mother in that movie.
Oh.
You know what Kiss?
I reached out to Mongo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's fucking tall. He's like 6'6" or something now.
Yeah. Hey, Chong.
But that scene was just hilarious.
So good.
That scene was just hilarious. He goes like, "I don't need to Kiss tickets that bad."
Is it worth being, beaten to death? Beaten up by that gargantuan?
I guess only if you get to meet Kiss.
Right.
That would be the only situation that it would be worth it. But just to have the tickets to see the show, not worth getting your ass kicked.
Dude, but it's crazy, Angel. Think about it at the time that movie was kind of based. Like, that was like the 70s. That was like Kiss firing all cylinders, like 1977. And the tickets were probably like $13 back then.
Yeah. I mean, it was for 1978, which the timeline, that was kind of where, before they did the 4 solo albums, before they went disco with I Was Made for Loving You. I mean, I think that period 76 was like the peak of it because you had Aerosmith on all cylinders, Queen, Led Zeppelin was still on all cylinders. You know, I would like to go back to summer of '76 just for those concerts because that's when you see all of these bands, at their peak before the drama and all that bullshit started taking place.
Absolutely.
Hey, Motley.
Motley making his appearance, his weekly appearance. But
dude, your girlfriend posted. Sorry, your girlfriend posted a cool picture of the two of you together. But it's so cute because the two of you are together, but then you have Motley right next to you.
Dude, he's just kicking it on the side of the couch, just in his Motley way.
I'm like, that's like the perfect Halloween card or something.
Yeah, something like that would be an interesting like Halloween card, like finding a way to put like some little bats or spider webs or coffins around the edge of the card or something.
I know, true story. I was horrified one time when Brian asked a question. He was like, "Where's Motley?" Because I don't know. I just kind of had this weird feeling. I'm like, if Motley doesn't show up, that's like bad luck or something. Motley kind of had me going through that phase one time where.
Yeah, but the other thing that's funny with him is he finds his ways to like blend, like just behind me. Like he could be there the whole time and nobody would really know it.
No, there was one show where they were asking, "Where's Motley?" Not knowing that the whole time he was right behind you. He just was not moving.
Yeah. Yeah, see, buddy, you got fans. So, Angel, we're getting up towards the end of spooky season, man. What are you doing for Halloween?
I'll probably get a cowboy hat to wear on the show.
Nice.
Just to see how it looks. When we were at Rockin' Pod in 2021, I had a heart attack when I seen the price on the cowboy hat I had put on. It was like $300 or something. I'm like,
yeah,
had to immediately take it off.
But yeah, dude, that's also because we made the mistake of going into one of those like hardcore, like genuine, like, you know, leather and cowboy stores.
Yeah.
If we had gone into like Halloween, it probably would have been a different story.
Yeah, I think that the next time we go to Rockin' Pod or Nashville is definitely going to be a party.
Sure thing. Hey, hang tight for just a second, Angel. Father needs me to give him a call real quick.
Okay. I'll keep it going for. Again, Father Sebastiaan should be on soon. We're just waiting for him to pop on. So in the meantime, tomorrow night we got Kik and Valentina on the show to talk about the new record and everything that's happening. We're definitely excited about that. For the 200th episode, Art of Anarchy guitarist Bumblefoot is going to be on to talk about the new record they have with Jeff Scott Soto, which it sounds totally ass-kicking. And we're working out the rest of the year for the shows and episodes, so definitely want to tune in. December 6th, 13th, 20th. December 27th will be the final show, so we're working on getting somebody that we had in Nashville to come back on the show. Can't believe we had Nashville earlier this year. So just asking everybody just to hang tight. Meantime, we just do a quick Q&A. I'm surprised even Motley left. So again, we're just waiting for Father Sebastiaan. So.
5 minutes, Angel.
Okay, no problem.
Cool beans. Yep, everything's totally peachy. I emailed the link to Father and texted it to him, so everything was totally cool. He was just having a little bit of a link situation, but it's super good. But yeah,
no problem.
But yeah, dude, absolutely, man. Kicking Valentina, that's going to be super duper awesome for anybody who's unfamiliar or is very familiar, but has also heard the news. We get to talk about Star Spangled Fist Fight tomorrow, so that's going to be very exciting, dude.
All right, and the cool thing is you get to pre-order. They have a package where you can pre-order the T-shirt. The T-shirt looks really ass-kicking, and the record as well.
Oh, awesome! I haven't seen the shirt yet, so I'll have to look that up.
I seen this shirt. It says "Who's Kicking Valentina," which
nice.
Smart marketing, though. That's the thing. It's really smart marketing. So I'm definitely hoping that they do the record release party, which they did for the release the last time for Revenge of Rock, where they started out in Atlanta, did a show there, then they did a show in Nashville. So definitely hoping that they will do that again, because that was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was definitely a good one for sure. That would be so super duper cool. I mean, dude, you've seen him a little bit more recently than I have. But we're definitely long overdue for some live Kicking at Valentina action, though, bro.
I'm gonna put it. I've already put it out to them. Let us host the record release party.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. So if any bands want us to host your event or anything, hit us up. It's almost New Year's Eve. If you're in Baltimore, you can have me and Jay. I'd definitely be down there for New Year's Eve.
Oh, absolutely. That would definitely be great.
Because I'm the only guy from the Metal Summit that's single, so I can pretty much just plan whatever the hell I want.
Very, very true. Oh, absolutely, man.
So that's the cool thing. Yeah, so if you're in Baltimore, you're a promoter, and you want me and Jay for New Year's Eve, go right ahead. I'm down to drive down to Baltimore.
Absolutely, man. 100% for sure. Yeah, man. Come on down. Come over to the restaurant I work for. Get some grub. Angel's been there.
Yep, I've been there. I was there for my birthday.
That you were. Absolutely, for sure. But yeah.
My friend still... Yeah. No, my friend still talks about that drink you made.
Nice.
The drink you made her, she still talks about it.
Oh, that's awesome. So I love making that kind of stuff. It's super duper fun. Like it's just fun to be creative and all that kind of stuff. I got to make a mocktail for a lady and her daughter when they came for lunch today. So that was kind of fun. So I kind of did this little spin off of like a strawberry mojito. It was pretty cool with like mint and lime, and it was cool. Like that was
so just curious. So people go to after Ramhead's live, they come over to the restaurant because it's like a walking distance.
Yeah, it's about probably 8 total blocks. It's definitely no big deal. Like, if you come out of Power Plant Live and just walk like a block down to like Pratt Street, take a right, walk straight up Pratt Street. You can take a right on Charles Street, which is what we're on, and about 2 blocks up Charles Street, you're going to run right into us. So, that's always super duper great. And we do all that kind of stuff. Like it's the funny thing is we're starting to we're 2 blocks away from Baltimore Arena, and that's where Kiss is going to be playing. And I noticed I started getting a lot of phone calls recently for people making reservations on Friday night. And don't get me wrong, reservations on a Friday night, of course, that's so common. That's super normal for a restaurant. But the way they were coming in around specific time frame, it got me curious. So I did a little research, and sure enough, it's because there was John Mayer playing like 2 blocks away at the big arena. So it's it's definitely shaping up to be a
John Mayer still performing?
He is. He's playing up, I guess, 2 blocks away, big arena show. So looks like it's going to be
John.
What's up?
Hold on. John Mayer is still performing.
Yeah, man.
I thought he was busy banging pop stars.
I guess he finds a time to tour at any given time. But we'll get caught back up on fun John Mayer arena stories around my job some other time, because our friend has joined us, our guest of the hour. We are very, very pleased and thankful that he is spending some time this evening to join us. Father Sebastiaan, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and welcome to the Metal Summit.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, brothers of metal. I just got across the Mexican border, and it took me 4 hours.
Wow.
I didn't expect so many people. I went to have lunch with some metalheads and vampires in Tijuana, and I did not expect such a response to people coming into the States during rush hour.
Sure.
Damn. Hey, if they give you any problems, I know Spanish, so I got
no, they didn't give me trouble. I have global entry, but I brought the wrong ID card, so I got stuck in line.
That's all right.
Oh, man. That's crazy. But
so I'm in my car.
Not totally. We actually caught Angel coming out of work as well. So he's actually off at a rest stop doing the episode off the Jersey Turnpike.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. We're in Jersey. What exit?
Off the 16 off exit 16, the Vince Lombardi rest stop, which is right by the American Dream Mall. It's where I hang out often.
I am actually right near exit 109 in Red Bank. That's where I'm from, and on the Garden State Parkway.
Oh, I know Red Bank.
Jay and Silent Bob are more famous than me.
I'm familiar with Red Bank.
Oh,
well, I'm familiar with all of New Jersey.
Yeah. I was like, but yeah, Father, not in our community. You're a top dog in our community, sir.
I do my best. I love rock and roll, and I eat at the Rainbow as much as I can in LA and order pizza, so it's always on a budget.
No, absolutely, my friend. But first and foremost, though, congratulations is in order, because last week you had the Endless Nights Vampire Salon event.
Well, that was Friday the 13th, and that was specifically for my best friend in the world, Patty Negri's birthday party.
Nice.
Yeah, she's a witch from Hollywood and a newly born vampire.
Okay. That's awesome.
So, damn. That is awesome.
So she's a genuine vampire witch.
Nice.
I know a vampire witch from Texas. I know a vampire witch from Texas. And some of them are
that must be one badass mama. Texan women get their gas at Chucky's or Bucky's.
God bless.
Yeah, at Bucky's. I think you're right. But Father, we'd love to hear the story. As the founder of the Endless Nights Vampire Ball, we'd love to hear a little bit of telling of how that got going and got started.
Can you see me better? I turned on the car's light.
Oh, totally. Looks good for me.
Angel's on the Jersey Turnpike, and I'm at the Mexican border.
Yeah.
Looks good.
All right. Well,
fuck, that reminds me.
It all started on my high school prom when my girlfriend wanted fangs for the prom. And I went to my grandfather, who was an orthodontist, and I said, Grandpa, can you make me some fangs for my prom? And my girlfriend was devoted to the vampire path. She was a fairy, a witch, a vampire, a Jew, and a werewolf. And
wow.
She exemplified all of those aspects. And she liked to mimic herself as Lilith from Jewish folklore.
Oh.
And she was also a witch. So her family was really Jewish, but they were pagan, which was fun. And she had long black hair with blonde streaks. And her name was Dawn. And we went to the prom, and I went to my grandfather, and he said, no, I can't make you fangs. That's satanic. And I'm like, come on, Grandpa. So I went to, my aunt found me, and she said, I know a dentist that can teach you, but don't tell your grandfather. And my aunt was a dentist too. So I'm the third generation of dental professionals in the Van Houten tribe.
Oh, wow.
And so I grew up with dentists and dental stuff, and perfect for a vampire to be a vampire dentist.
Yeah.
So I went to the prom, and I thought my vampire adventure was over. Then suddenly, people started asking me where I got my fangs. And I was like, well, okay. So I visited my aunt, and I said, hey, Auntie, can you hook me up with this dentist that you mentioned that could teach me how to make fangs? And I sat my mom down on Christmas Day, 1994, and said, Mom, you're my first vampire. And she's like Gabrielle in Interview with the Vampire, because Lestat turned his mother into a vampire. Yep. So what happened next was I started making fangs professionally. And I got invited by a girl named Sandy, who was a publicist for Roadrunner Records, at the Dark Shadows Festival in 1995, in June of that year. She goes, why don't you come down to New Orleans and be my date for the Anne Rice Vampire Lestat Vampire Ball? And I was like, are you crazy? You could only get tickets if you remember the fan club or you had connections. And this is the year after Interview with the Vampire came out. So I made like 400 pairs of fangs my first year. And I met Victor Magnus, my mentor. And I started a store on 4th Avenue in New York. And I said, I'm going to New Orleans for Halloween. He's like, the owner of the shop's like, you're doing so well. Why would you go to New Orleans for Halloween? And I'm like, because that's where the vampires gather, my friend. And I went to New Orleans, and we stayed in a bed and breakfast. I remember coming out of the gates of the this will get you to the Endless Night creation in a second. And I got off the plane, and I walked through the doors, and I felt my mom, the spirit of New Orleans in all her glorious humidity, greet me at the door, walking through the airport doors into this humidity of the city of New Orleans, and at the airport. And holy crap, did that wake me up. And she let me know she was there. And I went down and met Sandy down in the French Quarter, and we went to the Memnock Ball on Friday. I think it was the 28th of October, 1995. I was 19 years old and a freshly born vampire and fangsmith. And I got to Sandy and I landed on Wednesday. We toured the French Quarter. And then Sandy and I went to, this is before there was vampire tours. There was ghost tours, but there was no vampire tours. And then we got to the gates of St. Elizabeth's Orphanage, where Anne Rice was having her Memnock Ball. And mind you, this was at her peak. This was at her glory.
Yeah.
Okay. Interview with the Vampire had just come out, and the Memnock the Devil book just came out. It's fucking glorious. Am I allowed to curse on here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. And then the next thing I knew, I was standing in an audience of 5,000 people with top hats and corsets and amazing costumes and everything like that at the gates of St. Elizabeth's Orphanage, and a horse-drawn hearse comes around the corner and with 2 coffins in it, and these ushers push the crowd away, and the coffins up on the light posts on the gates of the light posts of the gates, and they opened one of the coffins, and Anne Rice came out, and the audience went batshit. And then the next thing that she goes, I have a surprise for you. While the crowds were like starting to calm down a little bit, there was like 5,000 vampires at the gates of this thing. She opened the other coffin, and Kirsten Dunst came out in the dress she died in the movie.
Oh,
and
my God.
They greeted everybody. Then they opened the gates. They walked into the courtyard. They got in a horse-drawn carriage, and they greeted every guest that came through the gates. And that ball was 6,000 to 8,000 people in the most beautiful, biggest. It was an orphanage, and it was 4 floors or 3 floors. They brewed their own Lestat beer. They had Mardi Gras beads with Lestat on them. Because Lestat's are a vampire. It's not Louis.
Yeah.
And I sat down in the middle of it, and I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm here. And there's no digital cameras, so I didn't get freaking pictures. All I have is my memories and some
no Polaroids.
No Polaroids, sadly. And what happened next was I was like, this is heaven. I need heaven. It's not Halloween, it's heaven. It's heaven where vampires go to die, is New Orleans. Okay. And I was like, I just want to do 1/10 of this and I'd be happy. So I spent the weekend. I went to meet Madame Alessandria, who was a big dominatrix, and she had a slave breeding program, and she was hooking up slaves and couples and making them have babies. And I was like, that's BDSM a little too far to me.
Yeah,
I think it was
even I agree with that.
Yeah,
I would not. And then, I can't get into that role play.
No, but it was pretty wild. She had a wolf that was a goofy wolf named Furnace, and he had like one ear down and another ear up, and he was like a retarded wolf, and he was like hanging out at her house. And she had this big mansion in the French Quarter, in the Garden District, and she was one hell of a interesting person. Then on Sunday, Sandy, my date, goes, how would you like to go to work in a metalhead haunted house? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I know the owner of the House of Shock. And I'm like, you do? And she's like, yeah, it's a guy named Phil. He runs this band called Pantera. And I got to the House of Shock, and out front of the House of Shock was this scene that I forever will remember. It was under a elevated train track. It looked like a carnival scene, but graffiti everywhere. And there was this priest called the pastor, and he was calling everybody a sinner. He had like a scruffy beard, and he was like yelling at people that were coming in, sinners, you're going to burn in hell because you're Christians. And there was police officers, and evidently Phil got in trouble for giving his 12-year-old brother acid. All right. And I think his brother got into his acid. All right. And, it's the 90s. This is 1995, the heat of the 90s. All right. And the police arrested him, and the magistrate said, Phil, if you want to get off of this, guess what you need to do? And he's like, what? And he's like, you need to raise $250,000 for the police to buy bulletproof vests. So he opened a haunted house to raise the money.
Oh, wow.
And that's how the House of Shock came into being. And I got to go into the Satanic Temple, and where Ross from the band Down was. I don't know if you know Ross. Ross was there, and Ross came out, and the opening scene, this guy was like, "Sinners, come forth, sinners," and there was a bunch of people outside in the line that were all jocks, and the line was a mile long, I swear to God. And they planted a guy in the line. They sacrificed his long hair, okay? And
hell no!
All the monsters, yeah, right. All the monsters came out, and Axl Rose and Rose cut his fucking hair. It looks like a cherub.
Yeah.
Then what happened was, as these monsters came out, Ross was in a skull. You ever seen the movie Time Bandits?
Yep, I have.
Okay, for those of you who haven't seen this movie, Time Bandits, go see it. It's fucking great. 1982. But remember those tall horse head skulls?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, with the long robes. Well, Ross was dressed like that, and he walked out, and he had all these army of zombies, and he was like, "Get Thomas Jones," or whatever the fucking kid's name was, and they ran down the line, and they grabbed this kid, and they dragged him in. They made him wear khakis and a polo shirt, and they dragged him into the door, and he was screaming, "Help me! Help me! Oh my God, I'm gonna die!" And then you hear chainsaws go, vroom, 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 and you hear him screaming, and then they bring out white sheets with body parts hanging out of him, threw him in the back of the ambulance, and the EMTs drove around the block and dropped it off the back, and they repeated the scene every 45 minutes. And that was the entrance to the House of Shock.
Oh my God!
You couldn't get more metal than that. That's in my memoirs. I'm actually giving you guys parts of my memoirs. Part 1, 1990s, comes out next October.
Oh, that's awesome. Well,
yeah, it's called The Vampire Sebastiaan.
I was like, trust me, we've got book talk coming.
Oh, right.
Hold on, let me fix the screen so I have you.
Okay,
I'm just fixing it for.
Well, but yeah, nope. Like, yeah, Father, we'll have book talk coming.
Awesome.
I love to talk books, but also Angel
stuff there.
Yeah, for sure. Because like, Angel, put me back as the biggie.
Oh,
it's all good, dude. I don't know if it's very clear to you, Father.
Oh, you got the Ouroboros and the Legacy Ankh right there. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, sir. I'm actually I'm actually from Salem, Massachusetts, and
really,
yeah, that's where I'm from, and I live in Maryland right now, but I love home, and I try to go back whenever I can. And a few months ago, I took my girlfriend for the first time. She'd always wanted to go, and she really loved it. Like, she connected a lot with it, very similar to me. But again, we can get more into this at any time. But one of my very favorite stores, a store that you're very familiar with, is Vamp Fangs. I mean, I love them to death.
Yeah.
You know, they're just great. They're just great
Ben
people.
And Lux.
And yes. And
you got the Sugar Pie book.
Yep.
Awesome. So basically what happened was, I just want to finish how the Endless Night came to be.
Oh, no, of course.
All right. After that, I was so blown away by New Orleans, I wanted to take that around the world. I wanted to take that experience that I had and bring other people to New Orleans. And I started the New York Vampire Ball. And then I went to New Orleans, and the Anne Rice Ball was only one day the next year. So I wanted to put some other events. Yeah, I wanted to put, and the Anne Rice Vampire Ball is a fucking amazing event. But the thing is, it's Friday night, and it caters to the Anne Rice crowd. Okay, it is a pure indulgence of Anne Rice's mythology, witches, vampires, wolves, BDSM, all that stuff. And I wanted the rest of the other vampire genre to be covered. So what I did was I created Endless Night as a Saturday event, and the events were in synchronicity, and I wanted to take a hotel and block out all the sunlight for the weekend.
Nice.
So Endless Night came to be, and the name from Ages of Innocence by William Blake. Some are born to sweet delight, born to endless night. A couple lines down from the doors of perception are always open, where Jim Morrison got the name for the doors.
Oh wow, that's super cool.
So
I love
that, because that is how Endless Night came to be.
Oh, that's so cool, man. That's so awesome, Father. Like, and it's super cool too. And the one thing I think I like, I've never gotten a chance to go there, but I'm very committed to 2024 for that. So I'll definitely have to, if I don't see you before then, I'll definitely have to come out for 2024 so I can shake your hand and thank you officially and professionally as well for your time. But the one thing I always found very interesting, because I watch it very closely, and I think the event is absolutely amazing. And as like a member of the community, I definitely know I'm missing out not getting my my vampire ball on. But the thing I always also found very interesting about the way that the vampire ball was set up is it caters to that full crowd. Everybody's inclusive, everybody's invited, but there's certain rules that are very, very strict that I think are strict in a good way that I found to be very interesting, where especially when it comes to like the vampire culture, members of our community that may feel like outcasts in their normal lives as opposed to when they can really cut loose. But things like the Endless Night Vampire Ball have like a very strict dress code that's like to be adhered to with no exceptions. And I found that to be very interesting.
Well, the only times that we have exceptions is when the staff of the club that we're working with lets people in the back door, and our audience knows to hunt them down, and we permit that. Actually, it's a game that we have. So what it is there's 3 levels of Endless Night dress code. Okay, so we're exclusive but inclusive. So you can tell our audience, the dress code is a security tool and the number one part of participation in the event. Okay, level 1 is all black, no sneakers, no streetwear, no, no logos, nothing like that. And what you need to do is wear all black, and it's best to have a mask and a robe to go with it, or a formal attire. Like a black cocktail dress or a black on black suit are really good ways to come. And that's our Salon Noir decor. The black uniform.
Yeah.
Okay. You can have pentagrams and Baphomets and unks and rings with demons on them and neck pieces and all sorts of stuff. But no logos. Even Endless Night T-shirts are not allowed inside the Endless Night.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So it's all black, no logos. You can have sigils and symbols, okay, but everybody can do all black, basic. It's not hard. You can go to Men's Warehouse and get a nice black suit with black shoes, okay, or you can go to and accentuate it with a silver chain or a silver belt buckle or shoes, and you can get a basic black suit for like under $100. So there's no excuse not to make the effort. Ladies and can also wear, you can wear a black on black tuxedo. A lot of ladies wear suits or dresses, Victorian style, but they got to be black for the Salon Noir. And that's the level 1 of the dress code. Level 2 is like for the balls, okay? And that's steampunk or Victorian or Edwardian. You can wear all the color you want there, okay? But basically blacks, reds, and silvers and golds are the tones that we prefer. And then on top of that, there's the extreme Venetian style, which is level 3. So it feels like you're going to Venice Carnival with a mask, and like we've had people dressed as Skeksis from Dark Shadow, Dark Crystal. Okay?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So each vampire ball in New Orleans has a theme, and our theme this year is Temple of the Dark Goddess. So,
okay.
you know, we really made an effort to distinguish ourselves from the Anne Rice Vampire Ball, which is the legacy event in New Orleans, and we're about 1,500 every year, sold out.
Wow, that's awesome, man. I mean, just to build it up like that. I mean, Father, it goes without saying, but I mean, honestly, congratulations on your continued success. I mean, that's an amazing feat.
So the event's a big ritual, and the ritual starts usually in New Orleans on a Thursday. Is our opening ceremonies and our invocation and calling of the quarters and inviting the spirits and the ancestors to come to the event. Then the second night is at the salon, which is the core ritual where we do the working for the weekend. We interact and make communion with the spirits. Saturday night is the blessing of the Dark Goddess, and we have Christine Stevens, the High Priestess of Alexandrian Wicca from the local coven. She's going to be doing all the rituals. And then Sunday night, we have the Babylon event, which is a high-class salon where you can wear red and black if you want, but that's all you can wear. And that is Sunday night. And what's great about that is that that's the closing ceremony. And Saturday night, we have an event where we release the theme for 2024.
Oh, wow. Very cool. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I love going to, because I've always loved the movie and I just enjoy going to it, is they do these live showings of Rocky Horror Picture Show where the movie is being shown while it's being acted out by an actual cast. And I love going to that and just enjoying it. I love the movie. I've seen it a million times and I'm down to see it another million. But one thing that's very cool is they have their own rituals that involve, like, bringing in people who are going for the first time, known as virgins and stuff like that. Do you do anything similar like that at the Vampire Ball? Like, if there's anybody who's attending for the first time, is there any in particular, like, event or ritual or something that they can participate in if they would like?
That's a really good idea, and I think we're going to have to come up with something.
Let's talk.
Yes, we got to come up with something for new virgins to the Endless Night. And the Endless Night, remember, the Endless Night has happened in Dallas, Tampa, at the Castle. It's happened at the Lizard Lounge in Dallas. It's happened at the Hawthorne Hotel in Salem. It's happened at Limelight and the Bank in New York. It's happened at House of Blues in New Orleans, Moulin Rouge in Paris. We've got a phenomenal resume, and the Globe Theater in LA. But in the House of Blues Foundation Room at the Mandalay Bay in Vegas, we did one Babylon Salon during the pandemic. But what I want to let you know is that all roads lead to New Orleans. That's our goal, is to bring everybody to New Orleans.
Okay.
And we do the time warp to close the ball on Saturday.
Nice. Absolutely. 100%. Angel, let me kick it up to you, my friend. Give you a little bit of time, of course, with Father before I take it into the next segment. It's all you, my guy.
Thank you. Definitely the first fan question. Jay, you're going to love this.
Oh, great.
Because it's a round table.
which means it's a Brian question.
There you go. Brian feels that we should make confessions. And I think so, too. I agree with you, Brian. Who goes first? I don't know. If you need time to think about it, that's fine, Jay. I got way too many confessions.
Son, tell me your sins.
Let's see. I spent one Christmas with a dominatrix and her friend, and basically her boyfriend was just waiting in the car thinking it was just her visiting her girlfriend. But she was just having it was like a BDSM role play.
Okay.
Okay, that's one confession.
I don't know how that's a bad thing.
I got a confession. I mean, does that have to be like a bad confession? I mean, if it is, I've run red lights. I've done speeding.
I think the things that you're confessing to would be sins to other people, but great pleasures to us.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a great pleasure. Christmas 2008.
Nice.
Sounds awesome, buddy.
Yeah, I mean when it comes to confessions, I mean the thing about my confessions is I don't do apologies either. So
me neither.
You know, it's kind of one of those things where life is worth living, and
yes, I have no regrets of the married chicks that I banged. Thank you. I would bang you again.
Yeah, I mean,
any of you married chicks here, I would bang. Sorry.
You know, I try to keep everything as you know, while I don't tone myself down because I'm very comfortable with myself. Like, you know, I try to always though be very, very respectful to my girl, you know, because you know Megan's, you know, fantastic and stuff like that. So, you know, the confessions are definitely all back in the time, because I definitely have to keep myself a little bit more in check. But you know, we love to show our fangs, and the fact of the matter is, you know, whatever the scenario is that caused us to give a little bit of a sharper grin is definitely something that we're going to take advantage of.
Of course.
That's awesome. Thanks for the memories.
Yes, absolutely. Just like I introed the show, Father, before we brought you up, was our horns up, fangs down.
Yeah. That's awesome. I haven't seen that before. Horns up.
That's been my new. That's been it's been like my favorite. I'm late to the party when it comes to hashtags because I'm an old school kind of guy. But when I started playing around with that idea, I was like, you know what? I think I can make a thing out of that.
Oh, that's awesome. Rock and roll, buddy.
100%, man. Absolutely. Angel, let me keep it with you, man, for a couple of minutes before we get into some book talk.
No, I just want to talk about the upcoming book from the 90s. Like, how do you remember the stuff from the 90s? So,
I remember the 90s better than the aughts. The 90s were their own era. I call it the first age. I mean, in metal talk. A lot of people don't know my metal references because when I was 14, I saw Metallica and Guns N' Roses open for them with my girlfriend and her mom.
I know what year that was. That was 92, so we're practically the same age.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
What are you talking about,
yes,
Angel? Me and Father are like 300 years old.
I'm 490 this January.
490. There we go.
Years.
Now go ahead, Angel. It's still with you, buddy.
No, he was talking about seeing Guns N' Roses and Metallica.
Yep.
Yes. That was my virgin bubble being busted for metal.
So the book you were talking about, we can expect it. Well, of course, October's almost over, but the following year.
Yeah, Halloween, October 2020, 24. And it's about my.
That's good.
It's about my adventures in the 1990s.
I mean, adventures in the 90s were better kept secrets than now with, you know, social media and all that stuff.
Well, I live pretty big there, but the thing is that I didn't do anything I did things that were crazy and like nuts for the time,
but nothing that you wouldn't do at Burning Man.
Sure.
Like, I had 2 girlfriends at the same time for over a year. It was crazy. Everybody thought I was nuts.
In the 90s, that was easier to do.
No, polyamory is like Republicans are doing it now.
Huh.
like some of the bunch of the people that stormed the Capitol building, okay, those MAGA guys were like talking about their boyfriend. One girl was talking about her 2 boyfriends. So even the conservatives are into that stuff now. It's not just the eccentric weirdos.
True.
So I lived a very rock and roll life in the 90s. I calmed down in the aughts.
We all calm down eventually at some point.
Well, I got wild in the teens. Okay.
That's what we're supposed to do. I mean, I remember just all the crazy stuff doing as teens. That was, yeah, I mean, that's the time to do it.
Absolutely, keep it alive. So, what's Jersey like? I heard Jersey's. I haven't been back to Jersey in 2 years.
2 years? I mean, well, the American Dream Mall finally opened up, and they have like the big wheel. The good thing about the big wheel is that there's no cameras inside of it, so you could get freaky in there if you want to, but it's best to do it at night.
Ooh.
So that's like next to MetLife Stadium, the American Dream Mall. So if you ever hop on the big wheel, just know that, yeah, if you want to be adventurous, you can get freaky in there, but just ride the big wheel at night. Now that it gets dark earlier, you can pretty much do it at 5 o'clock.
The question I have is weed legal in Jersey?
Yep.
Ah, okay. I can feel at home again there.
Oh, it's legal. The Hard Rock Casino is still on and popping. They still have great shows there.
Sorry, my light has gone
off. The Turnpike and the Garden State Parkway got a little more expensive, which always fucking sucks. Yeah, if you're ever a band and you got to travel through Jersey and you go on the Garden State Parkway, you're gonna spend a fortune.
Yeah, I'm sure the Garden State Parkway is the bougiest highway I've ever seen.
Damn, what is it?
Bougie.
So Jersey has
bougie.
True. And Ocean County is still boring as fuck.
Is alcohol legal?
That's like, yeah, they haven't sold it in stores yet. Like, it's kind of weird. You can go to like a Rite Aid or ShopRite and get alcohol, and some other ShopRites or Rite Aids, they don't sell alcohol. So you're in Mexico now, right?
No, I'm at the border of Mexico waiting for my friend to get through customs because I have global entry. And he's been I put him on a bus for $20. I put him on a bus for $20 to get him across the border.
So have you seen shows in Mexico?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Nosferatu.
What's like the difference? Right. What's like the difference in audiences from the shows in Mexico and the shows in the States?
Mexicans drink a lot of beer, and they're very calm. American metalheads are a little wild. The Mexican guys are really into makeup, and the shows, the venues are pretty freaking cool. They put a lot of effort, and there's a lot of like occultism in Mexico. There's a lot of magic in Mexico. Magic is considered like, in America it's theatrical. In Mexico it's theatrical, but they kind of get it. And like DJs do music. Like my favorite DJ in Mexico is Zedkill, and she does she DJs from an altar. So she's a pagan priestess presiding, and she does like an invocation when she DJs. I've been wanting her to come to the United States for a long time, but we were having trouble getting her visas because she's just in that sweet spot where she's not rich enough to get a visa and she's not poor enough to get a visa. But there's a really good venue on Avenue Republico in Mexico, Tijuana, TJ. It's called Black Box. I walked by it today. It was I've been there 4 or 5 times. I've seen a lot of great shows there.
I think I've heard of that place.
Yeah, it's a legendary. It's kind of like CBGB's of Tijuana.
Oh, nice.
So the Mexicans are really, really devout to their magic and their makeup.
Yeah, you think about some of the holidays. How is it? I don't know, because I'm kind of thinking that New Orleans, whole thing with magic, and Mexico, it's, I don't know, maybe similar, but I could be wrong because I've never been to either.
Here's Isaac. Hey. He just got off the bus. How was the bus, Isaac?
It was way better than standing in line.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's good. Isaac just took the bus across the border, and
nice.
It was $20.
10.
$10.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah. That's why we spotted the other guy.
Oh, that's great. I thought it was $20.
Oh.
He owes you change.
Well,
hey, how you doing, Isaac? Job. Welcome to the Metal Summit.
Is the car battery dead? We're gonna have to call it AAA.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh shit. The battery's dead.
Oh no.
Yeah. I turned the light on this so the podcast was good. Now we gotta call AAA.
No, absolutely. Father, everything's cool, and we definitely don't want you guys to be stranded or anything like that. Do we want to give you?
Yeah, no, not
we
at all.
want to allow you to handle this situation because you're more than welcome on any time, of course.
Let's come on soon, and I will be in the throne.
Definitely got to continue.
Nope, absolutely, for sure, Father. Yeah, we definitely don't want that to be a situation. But real quick, before we cut you loose. I'm sorry about that, fans. That's an unforeseen circumstance. Sometimes that things just happen. But Father, let everybody know, like, where can you be found? Where can they find the Endless Night Vampire Ball? And where can they find, like, anything that you've done, like your books and anything like that?
Well, remember, it's Father Sebastiaan with 2 A's, like it's spelled right on my profile right here. And you can find me at endlessnight.com. It's not endlessnights.com, but endlessnight.com.
With one T. There's no S at the end of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's singular. It's one long endless night.
Absolutely. No, 100%. For sure. Father, let's let you go because we definitely want you to be able to handle that. I'll be in touch. We'll get you scheduled and we'll have some more fun. But Angel and I really appreciate you taking some time to do our show. It's an absolute honor. I myself very much appreciate you, and I know that Angel does as well.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Definitely.
Absolutely, for sure.
From the darkness north of
Thank
Mexico.
you so much, brother.
And
absolutely,
for
sure.
My hero today.
No, of course. And Isaac, you take care as well, friend. You guys both get home safely. And Father, you and I will be in touch.
Right back at you guys.
All right. Rock and roll, guys. You can see my
rock
horns.
And roll. Take care.
Horns.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys.
Absolutely. Angel, let's just rock it out for a little bit longer. Fans, thank you guys so much. We do apologize for that, but sometimes it happens. And the fact of the matter is the safety of our guests is what's much more important. So if they're having car trouble, it's more like Angel and I are very much, we're honored by the fact that coming out of Mexico, which is not something that we were prepared for, he was willing to do our show, right on the side of the road to fulfill his obligation when he could have easily rescheduled.
Yeah.
So we appreciate Father for that, absolutely. And we will definitely have him back on.
Definitely.
He's an absolutely fascinating guy. And like I said, we didn't even get into his books, but I'll give him a short little plug real quick to set you guys up. So like you guys all know, because you've heard me say it a few times, I'm from Salem, Massachusetts. My favorite store is a store called Vamp Fangs, VAMPFANGS. Love that place. They've always been amazing to me. They're great people. Ben and Lex run it the correct way. And they're also the main people that work with Father as the hosts and the people that put on Salem's version of the Endless Night Vampire Ball. So I was able to pick up some of Father's books recently, some of which I had, which is this one that he mentioned, which is out of print, which is Vampire Magic. This is one of his books right here. And this is his logo right here, which is on my necklace here, which I'll tell you a cool little story in a second about that. But then I was able to pick up his Black Veils book, which has a really cool, that didn't work very well, but has a very cool picture of him on the back. And, it's his, this is basically the Witch City Halo edition that they sell at Vamp Fangs, which is, Witch City, as people know, that's what Salem is referred to. So very, very cool. There's a picture of the Sabretooth version of the Ankh, which is Father Sebastiaan's, that's his clan, which is the clan that I'm a part of. And I was also, this is where the cool story comes out. So here's his other most recent book, Strigo 7. And it's also got the picture of him on the back. I was able to get a copy right at the store, like you saw me put up earlier in the episode, or anybody that's just tuning in, that is signed by Father Sebastiaan. I got book number 294. And so here's the fun story about this. So Father Sebastiaan has a logo. You saw it on these books. You also saw it on in a bigger version of Vampire Magic. So that's what I'll use, which is right there. He has pendants that are available for that. Here's the fun thing, or the interesting thing, I should say, because for some people, maybe it's not fun. You can only get it when you buy his book. That was actually something I didn't know about. So anybody who's familiar with me, and of course the episodes that Angel and I do, depending on how the camera is, may or may not notice that an Ankh, a Vampire Ankh, is what I wear most of the time if I'm not wearing this one. So I was in Salem. Like I told Father, is that I was there and took my girlfriend Megan for the first time, and we went to visit Vamp Fangs because I'm a nerd. I have to go. I have to shop. I have blah blah blah. All that stuff. Well, they told me this cool thing because Father's book had just come out, and they're like, "Hey, there's this thing. Father's very particular about it. You can actually get a pendant of his actual logo." But you can only get it if you buy his book. You can't just buy the pendant by itself, which I think is actually very, very cool because I think it kind of separates fashion from legit interest, and I appreciate Father for his time and coming on the show. I always appreciate Angel for being so open with the guests that I book and stuff like that, since I'm a little bit out there, but it is also spooky season. So I always found that to be really, really interesting and really, really fun and kind of a cool little Easter egg that if whatever you heard from talking to Father struck your interest, or if you're able to go check out his website and all the stuff he's interested in. That's a cool little thing. You can get his dragon pendants from Vampfangs, but you do have to buy his book. So for what it's worth, I'll give fans a potential disclaimer. I don't know how that would work online, if that's a thing, something they're able to do. I would suggest calling the store and asking. So let them know that you were watching the Metal Summit with Angel and Jay, and that Father Sebastiaan was on the show as an interview. And we were talking about, his book and his pendant. Again, Father was this is a story that the Vampfangs people told me personally. Father was very particular about it. He was just very, very, it's what he wanted, is that you could only get this with the purchase of his book. So if you call the store and talk to them about it and about the scenario, I'm sure they'd be able to take care of you. Don't take my word as gospel, because I don't know what Father had set up for his personal wishes. But we definitely appreciate you guys. But Angel, let's kick it over to you a little bit, man.
Oh man, what I like about this time of the year is that you have like the homecoming, which I got the chance to go back to my old school, and just kind of revisit like the library and just walk around the campus and stuff, and just thinking, how the fuck did I make it through each semester?
Yeah.
Just working full time, going to school full time, and just going by the train station where I always had to catch the train and all that stuff. All of that just brought back memories, especially with my mom. Yesterday was my mom's birthday, so going to homecoming was a chance for me to kind of relive the memories of her when she attended my graduation, the National Honor Society induction ceremony. That's pretty hard to believe, but yeah, I was inducted into that. And the whole thing with Halloween, I always love, just the Halloween stores, because the dress ups, like this is the time to be having sex and doing role play, because you can go to the Halloween store and just actually get that. You can get the cowboy thing, the Wonder Woman outfit, which I love,
the lasso.
Yes, you can get all of that stuff. This is the time to be doing role play and including that into your sex life.
Exactly, man. Absolutely.
We were talking about Halloween, so I had to bring that up.
Oh no, of course, man. Absolutely. So kind of a fun question for you, brother. What do you find yourself like into when it comes to that stuff? Do you like your vampires? Do you like your werewolves? Do you like your slashers? Like, what kind of stuff? What is Angel Alamo into when it comes to this time of the year?
I love the vampires, and maybe it's just something sexy about it. Somebody just biting your neck. That's a weak spot. So with vampires, they're always gonna hit that spot. But I just love the whole thing. The decorations, the haunted houses, all that. It's just stuff for fun. Some people take it seriously, or celebrating. But hey, you have two choices. You can do it or not. But me, it only happens around. I'm 45 years old, so I'm at that age where every year I just enjoy it more, because next year's not promised. So I always be sure to just enjoy it each year.
Absolutely. So Angel, I got an idea for you. So it'll depend on their schedule, and we'll have to see how things work and if they're able to do it. But sticking with the spooky season, you and I had a very successful episode with the vampire Jack Townsend and his girlfriend Shane.
Yeah.
So if you didn't know, his new book is out, or about to be like officially released. So we're not going to tell the fans who it is, because we'll wait for that announcement. But we do have an early afternoon episode scheduled for November 1st. But for the sake of our beloved Metal Summoners, who are used to us being on at 9 o'clock, we do have a 9 o'clock opening for that evening, if we wanted to do it. That Wednesday, November 1st, obviously is the day right after Halloween. So maybe it might be kind of interesting maybe I should reach out to Jack and see if he and Shane are available for a follow-up the day after Halloween.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, man. I think that could be super duper fun. Because, without giving too much away, I mean, we've got something fun earlier that day, and you know how you and I love our flowers and pistols. I mean, so
that's so have
something fun.
Because earlier, of course, it's always fun. I mean, I love the whole vampire thing, and there's something going on, some event in Fort Worth, Texas, in December. That has to do with the whole vampire thing, which is really cool. Freaking A. I mean, you know what? And if you're in Jersey, there's an event that I'll be covering November 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Exotica, which is in Edison, New Jersey, right off exit 10. Friday night is ladies free, where, hey, you can still wear your Halloween costume. You can still be a freak and just have fun. A continuation of Halloween weekend per se.
Nice. What are the dates of that again?
That's it's Friday, November 3rd, Saturday, November 4th.
Okay.
And Sunday, November 5th. Exotica, have a lot of adult entertainers there. I'm always doing interviews with them and meeting them. So.
Okay. Absolutely.
It's a fun weekend.
Yeah, dude, I'll have to check into that. Let me play a little bit of the commute game. Because I think that'd be kind of cool for something that maybe me and Megan can pop into, and we can have a little mini
Metal Summit
reunion.
I got a solution for that. They have one in DC also.
Do that?
They have one in DC. Yeah.
Are you working?
Yeah, they're in Chicago. I'm trying to.
All right. All right,
I know it's in. Yeah, let me bring it up. I know it's in December. Exotica, DC. It's supposed to say DC area, but it's really Virginia. Okay,
no worries. No, that's definitely something that we can check out and stuff. I think that would be super duper fun. And hey, man, any chance that the Brotherhood gets to get back together, man, I'm always for that, dude. So that could be some fun for you and I to get to kick it at, bro.
Yeah, December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Okay, nice. Because so Metal Summoners, in case you guys are unfamiliar or haven't heard yet. So that myself and Angel are over the last few years have been to multiple Rockin' Pods. Unfortunately, Rockin' Pod has decided that they're going to take 2024 off. So they'll be coming back at 2025, assuming as long as everything goes off without a hitch, and we know it's going to go off without a hitch, you will get to see our beloved Angel Alamo and myself back in Nashville, rocking out and representing the Metal Summit. Again, of course, along with the core four, Bobby and Steve. So we do currently have plans to be at the next Rockin' Pod. So anybody who hasn't heard, our beloved Chris Sinzak, who's a 2-time alumnus of the show, has decided that he's needs to turn over the reins of Rockin' Pod to Tracy, who, of course, you fans aren't going to be familiar with, but Angel and I are very much familiar with her. She's basically Chris's lieutenant. She's the one that, that's Chris's right-hand woman to back him up on all that kind of stuff. But she's going to be taking over Rockin' Pod. If you check out, Rockin' Pod on Facebook and stuff like that, the announcements are out there. They have let people know about that. And I know I can speak for Angel, of course, but I'll let him speak for himself as well, that we can't be more proud and happy frankly, for Tracy's promotion to taking over Rockin' Pod.
Yeah. It's a bummer but you know what? We'll find an excuse to make it to Nashville. So if you're in Nashville, like we know we got our friend Blevins says is having an event there tonight. So Blevins, dude, if you have an event down in Nashville, freaking hey, invite us.
Yeah, dude. Angel, pitch it, bro. What's Blevins got going on tonight with the TMS alumni?
Wow, tonight, it's pretty much all TMS alumni. You have Tor performing. He's performing as well. Mark Gus Scott is actually hosting the event. Mark Gus Scott is from Trickster.
Coming soon on the Metal Summit. Angel and I are working on that.
We will get him, and of course John Karabi headlining. And look, it's all for cancer. Blevins, he has mentioned that he is fighting stage 4 cancer. We love him like a brother. We're here for him. Cancer has affected all of us. We know Psycho Steve survived cancer. I lost my parents to cancer over the course of the last few years. So, we've all, everybody has been affected one way or another by cancer. So if, he has an event again next year, we'll definitely happy to be down for it. And he has a GoFundMe page. So if you could donate anything, or if you cannot donate, that's fine, but you can just share his GoFundMe page. That's another good way that you can actually help out. Just sharing it. If you cannot donate anything, we understand things are tight financially. But it's all for a good cause for fighting cancer. And I hope that someday, we can say fuck cancer and they find a cure for it, because it's too much. It's taken too many lives. Suzanne Summers died of breast cancer recently.
Yeah,
after a long battle with it. We've all had friends that's been affected by it. We're just hoping for a freaking cure. I mean, the medicines and everything, I had the experience with it, with, chemo and all that stuff. Seeing my mom, she didn't go through it, but it was her choice not to. But hopefully they'll find a cure for this thing. But in the meantime, there's ways that we can help out.
Absolutely, man. 100% for sure. I mean, my step aunt, I guess is how it would be, is because she was married to my uncle. She's a breast cancer survivor. This is a show completely built on positivity. You and I have always been very big on that.
Yeah.
My uncle is no longer with her, but that does not change the fact that, she's a member of the family, was a member of the family. And the fact of the matter is she is a cancer survivor. And that's what matters. You've got your Blevins t-shirt, I've got mine, So we definitely rock those with pride. We're very proud that, Blevins has taken care of us when it comes to like his bands, from when it was Voodoo 13 all the way to if it coming up to South 13. Like, that's you said it, man. That's family. That's our guy.
Yeah, and he's filled in a couple of times as a guest co-host.
Anytime he wants.
Just somebody that I met him when he was working the merch at the Tom Kiefer, Winger, John Karabi show, and I got to meet him for the first time, and it was super nice, super awesome guy.
Totally, dude. Angel, how was that show, man? Because they didn't really come to my area, so I wasn't able to see that show.
I mean, well, with John, he was fucking awesome on the acoustic guitar. He's really made it interesting in playing stuff from his career. Mm-hmm. I know he gets a lot of shit because he replaced Vince Dio. Hey, look, so the fuck what? I don't give a damn who you are. Anybody, if in 1992 Motley Crue came to you and say, "Do you want to be the singer of Motley Crue?" you would have said yes.
Right.
That's just the honest truth.
Here's the thing, real quick, Angel. Before I let you continue with the show, because I definitely want to hear about that. Here's my thing, and I've always been honest about this. I've always been a John Karabi fan because I was a big fan of the Scream. Nothing against John. I love that he was in Motley Crue. I simply hated that it was called Motley Crue. And that's not against John. That's not even about John. It's the fact of the matter is that, growing up, when you hear, Shout at the Devil, and then you hear Girls, Girls, Girls and Wild Side, which is literally my favorite Motley Crue song. I mean, it's tattooed across my knuckles, and then, of course, into Dr. Feelgood, that sound, that style. Vince Neil is my guy for that band. But I love John's tone. He's an amazing singer. I will die on the hill for that Motley 94 album. It's an amazing record. I just don't love it as a Motley Crue record because, in my opinion, it's really not a Motley Crue record. But that doesn't change the fact that I love it. I just hate the fact that it was called Motley Crue. I would have loved for it to be called Karabi. Don't get me wrong. It was never going to get called that because you're not going to have the super established band of Motley Crue with this new singer who, to a certain degree, people maybe weren't even familiar with, calling it his namesake. You know what I mean?
Right. They would not have called it that.
Yeah. I understand why they called it Motley Crue, and I'm not mad at them for doing it. It's just one of those things where when they talk about why that album wasn't as successful, that might have had something to do with it. They could have called it, frankly, anything, but they decided to go that way, and I think that's why it had a little bit of a hiccup. But it's an amazing album. Like I said, I'll die on the hill for that album. I love John. He's an alumnus of this show. I had met him before we even started this show, and he's an amazing human being. Everything that he does with the Dead Daisies, as far as I'm concerned, is fucking gold. Right back to you, bro.
Oh, but you got to think, to that time, they had done the Greatest Hits album. They put out the song Primal Scream, and they had signed that new $1 million contract with Elektra Records.
Yeah.
So just imagine if Elektra Records had found out, hey, they got rid of Vince Neil, suddenly then they don't get that money, that big money contract. I think back then when there was a record label, the thing is they had to push it for it to be called Motley Crue because promoters had to make money, the record label had to make money, the management, everybody had to make money. And that's just the nature of that beast. But with John, at that time, okay, going to 1994, we know grunge was in. A lot of bands were either falling by the wayside or trying to do something different. But Motley Crue, they made the album that instead of trying to go grunge or going with the tide of what was going on, cutting their hair and stuff, they kept their hair long, and they made an album that, to me, kicked grunge's ass. Yeah. That's what I love about that record, is that I mean, Mick Mars, his fucking guitar playing is awesome. He suddenly had somebody he could play guitar with because John Corabi's a rhythm guitar player. Fucking hey, Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
He was back to really playing drums the way he wanted to. They had a song on that record, Till Death Do Us Part.
Yeah.
It's very underrated because you kind of hear both of the guitar parts, and you just love that beginning, that slow beginning intro to it. If you never listened to it, it's a really freaking awesome song.
Absolutely.
But I get it. But you know what? Then they came out in 97 with the Generation Swine record, and people were like, what the fuck? It was electronica. It was less on guitars, less on everything. So I'm like, give me the Motley album over the Generation Swine records, because that was just.
No, I'm definitely with you.
I listened to it and I'm like, what the fuck did you do? Okay, you got a new producer that made you electronic. Okay, you got less guitars. They figured we'll get Vince back, make a shitty album, and it still sell anyway. And they pretty much sold the same. They both went gold.
Yeah, dude, you're right for sure. And honestly, man,
and look, I love Motley.
Yeah,
I love Motley Crue to death. I mean, when they got Randy Castillo, I was happy that I was like, okay, Tommy Lee left. He wants to do rap, but they got Randy Castillo, who was the best replacement that they can get. People forget about that time period when they had Randy Castillo when Tommy Lee left. and he was just fucking awesome. I loved him on that new Tattoo record. He
dude.
was the best replacement for Tommy Lee.
And this, it's funny, dude, that you bring that up. Here's my thing. So, like, Metal Summoners, like you guys know, Angel and I were very blessed to have John on the show. And it really gave our show the biggest push at the time that we'd really gotten. Like, Angel, wouldn't you agree, dude? We were on everybody's feed. We were very blessed that way. I mean, every music, news channel picked up John's interview.
Yeah, Twitter as well I'm always checking everything. Whenever we have the show, I'm always checking.
We're still
I'm like the mathematician of.
We're still getting
people still watching
Twitter accounts that are posting about John's interview.
Right. And
so
anyway, he made a great record with them.
Yeah.
Look, it gave him a career.
It did.
Because John, overall he's a nice guy, and he wrote a song, that song that he did with the Scream, Mother, Father, Son.
Yeah.
That's still, he played it live, and it's still, because of what happened recently, it still brought me to tears because every time he does that song.
It's amazing. I mean, when it comes to the Scream stuff, I mean, Outlaw is still my jam. It's just such an aggressive. When you play it with like a fully plugged in like band, that song is just dynamite, dude. It's just so fucking amazing, dude. I love that Outlaw song. But no, anyway, like what I was kind of getting into is the thing is like we were very blessed with the legs that interview got. But the thing that's so interesting about it is because John is so honest and just such a good guy about talking about things. Because I remember asking him about his portrayal in The Dirt. Because you saw The Dirt, I saw The Dirt. John was in the movie for like a flash. Here's my personal opinion when it comes to The Dirt. I did like it. I really did. I thought The Dirt movie was great. But my only critique is that, in my opinion, one of two things should have happened. It should have either been about 30 minutes longer, and I know that it was already kind of long, and I'm cool with that, but just from my personal suggestion, I felt it should have either been about 30 minutes longer, or it should have been a two-part thing. Because the thing that was so weird to me that I didn't like, and this does have a little bit to do with my own personal feelings on the matter, but in general, just as a music fan, is they kind of glazed over John's era, and they kind of made him look bad. And again, Metal Summoners, this is nothing that isn't already documented in John's interview. Angel and I aren't talking about anything that John didn't say himself. John was portrayed in that movie, yes, but they kind of made him look bad. They made it look like Motley was playing to like half-empty gymnasiums, which was not the case.
Right.
But
no.
The truth is, it wasn't quite the enthusiasm as when it was with Vince, which is understandable. But the Dirt movie did make John's era kind of look very dismissive, and John didn't appreciate that. Even in the movie, you only saw John's character for shit like 15 seconds. It was very bizarre. But the part that I didn't appreciate is I was like, look, you glazed over John's era. You paid a lot of attention to the death of Vince's daughter. And don't get me twisted. I'm not talking shit about the death of a child. I would never say something like that. I'm only talking about the movie itself. They paid a lot of attention in that movie to Vince suffering with his daughter passing away. And I definitely understand that and appreciate that to a certain degree. However, if you watch the movie, when they talked about Vince coming back to the band, they instantly jumped to the Red, White, and Crew era, which is when they put out their greatest hits album, with like what Angel already spoke about, with Primal Scream being released, and the other like unique brand new songs that they put out. What was it called? I think it was called like Die Another Day, or If I Died Tomorrow. There it is. If I Died Tomorrow.
If I Die Tomorrow.
Yeah. So If I Died Tomorrow was a new song that they put up for Red, White, and Crew when Vince came back. But like Angel said, the new Tattoo album is great. I love that album. I think Hell on High Heels is a great song. But they completely just skipped that. And that was the thing that was always kind of weird to me. I was like, wait, you focused on Vince Neil suffering through the death of his daughter, which I do understand, but you kind of glazed over the John Corabi era, but you chose to blatantly ignore when Tommy left the band to become a rapper. And they had
that late 90s period.
Yeah. They had Randy Castillo right up until his passing, had Samantha Maloney from Hole filling in while Randy was sick. But you just kind of ignored that era. It was just weird. That was my only real blemish when it came to the Dirt movie, because honestly, I did enjoy it overall. I did think it was a great movie, but I thought that was kind of bizarre and a little bit in bad taste. It doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the movie, but I'll be honest, I felt it was a little bit of bad taste.
Well, we know that there's always the possibility of doing the director's cut. We know when they do director's cut, they add deleted scenes, deleted footage. So I would just hope that there is deleted footage of that. But yeah, they could have made it into like a 2 parts easily.
Yeah.
Because that part when Tommy Lee left, of course they made that into its own series. Tommy Lee and Pam. That's when Tommy Lee was known as a celebrity, and I grew up on Motley, and I liked a quote that Tommy Lee said one time in an interview in '89. He said he just wants to play drums, and
yeah,
that's what I missed about the late '90s when he was the celebrity guy dating Pam and Bobby Brown, and just dating celebrities. I think I just kind of missed Tommy Lee when he was just a drummer in Motley Crue.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they skipped over that whole era, of course, because it was not. I mean, if you're going to do it right. I mean,
I agree.
When they did the Queen movie, they kind of knew when to end it. End it at Live Aid.
Totally.
And when they wanted to do a sequel, they said, "Why? Why are we going to do a sequel to the Queen movie?"
No. Dude, Angel, you know me as good as anybody. I will personally revolt. I will burn down the producing studio if they dare to try to do a follow-up to that Queen movie. Like,
they can't, because what are you going to do?
They can't. They did it right.
No.
There are little things that I did. There are little things about that movie I didn't like, but it's not like it's a big deal. I saw Queen like a week ago with Megan. It was her first time seeing Queen. Adam Lambert is fronting the band, which, for the record, I would really like to get him on the show, and I am working on that. It's just very, very difficult because he's got hardcore PR people. Anyway, here's my thing with the Queen biopic. I thought it was great, and I loved it to death. There are little things I didn't love, but I didn't get mad about because only a Queen crazy nerd like me would know. Like, for example, if you saw the movie, Freddie did not meet his ex-wife in a clothing store. He met her because she was actually dating Brian May. No big deal.
Wow.
It's Hollywood. There are going to be little discrepancies. But in reality, he didn't meet his ex-wife in the clothing store when he showed up there after he met her at a gig. She was dating Brian May. It fizzled out, didn't work out, and they started becoming a thing. That's totally fine. Same with Freddie's, ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, Jim Hutton. He didn't meet him because he was a waiter at Freddie's house party. Again, that was a Hollywood fabrication. He met him in a gay club in London. Again, it's no big deal. It's fine. It's no different than the Rockstar movie, which is based around Tim Ripper Owens of Judas Priest. Very Hollywooded out, but that is what it's based off of. So no big deal. My only particular issue is when they moved up Freddie's announcement that he had AIDS. We all know that he died in 1992 from, pneumonia, brought on by the AIDS virus. That's common knowledge. Anybody can see that. It's all over Wikipedia. It's all over the basic internet. My thing about it is that I didn't personally love, as a Queen fan and as a Queen enthusiast, that they moved it up in time. That was my issue. Because all of that announcement type stuff, that conversation stuff, that happened after Live Aid, closer to his passing. So in my
opinion,
it
was 87.
Yeah. So in my opinion, I wish they had left that part out of the movie where he says to his band, "Hey, I've got it. I've got AIDS. And all I want to do with my time left on this earth is make music." Don't get me wrong. Trust me, don't get me wrong. I loved that part of the movie because I did feel connected, because I love the fact that somebody would think about it that way. Knowing that they had limited time on the earth and they just wanted to make music for the fans and bring joy to everybody. Trust me, I'm all about that. I loved that. I didn't love that they moved it up in history. I would have preferred, in the movie sense, that they left that speech out and ended it just the way they did. They perform at Live Aid, and then it popped up on the screen on this date Freddie Mercury passed away due to, pneumonia brought on by the AIDS virus. And then, Jim Beach and the band started the Freddie Mercury Foundation. All the closing credits that they actually did in the movie. I thought that was perfect. I thought it was tasteful. I thought it was exactly what needed to happen. I just didn't love the actual announcement of him having AIDS, because I didn't love that they pushed it up in time. Other than that, frankly, I thought that movie was a perfect biopic.
It really was. And me, as a Queen fan, it's emotional every time I hear "Show Must Go On," because you think about the notes that he hit. He was sick, and the notes that he hit, and he just simply joked down Jack Daniels and just got on the mic and just hit it. And that song is still like...
Yeah, man. Angel, for what it's worth, man, Adam and Queen played that when I saw them 2 weeks ago, and it was great.
I mean, because it just became like the theme. What a perfect song to... And just for him to really make that's him at his best when he was just dying. And when he did, it was just really sad. And back then, the whole thing with AIDS was people dealt with a lot of discrimination.
It was so
let's not forget that.
It was so taboo.
That, right. And look, I had a friend who had a major impact on because when I was a teenager, I volunteered at a teenage hotline. And I had a friend, her name was Allison, Allison Bernstein, and she was just a major influence on my life. Where she had AIDS, she was fighting it, but she was like a second mom to us. She would run the teenage hotline, and I was always shy about speaking and everything. She'll be like, "Why don't you speak up? Why don't you?" And once I did, I couldn't shut up, which I still can't. But just the discrimination she had to go through was just sickening. And I just look back at it, and I'm like, that's just a horrible thing for people to be discriminated because of their illness, and that's pretty much what was happening. We look at Ryan White, a teenager that was kicked out of school because he had AIDS. And Elton John had made a big tribute to him, and God bless Elton John for doing his AIDS Foundation and awareness, because I think that really, helped a lot of people with the work that Elton John did for AIDS charities and AIDS Foundation.
Absolutely, man, 100% for sure. So, Angel, it is about that time. Metal Summoners, we love you guys. We couldn't appreciate you guys any more than we do. Like, you give me and Angel an outlet every single week to do what we do. Anybody that we bring on, Angel brings on amazing guests. I bring on guests that I think have fantastic stories. Like, Angel and I talk about it off. Like, we're more than happy to give you guys a peek around the curtain. Angel and we love this show, and we appreciate you guys so much for everything that you guys do for us. The guests that we bring on and the conversations that we get to have. So we appreciate your continued support. We will have Father back on in the next couple of weeks. I'll reach out to him tomorrow because obviously I'm going to want to make sure that he's okay and safe, because that matters first and foremost. So I'll message him tomorrow. Make sure that he got home safely, or at least got to a hotel or whatever safely, because we apologize, Metal Summoners. That was not exactly something we thought would happen. But when they mentioned that, the safety of our guests is by far more important. Angel and I can always rebook an episode. If a guest is stranded with car trouble, that is of the utmost more value. So no worries there, but we appreciate you guys so much. But we will see you guys tomorrow night. We've got Angel.
Yep.
Hit him with it. We got a little KV, right?
Yes, we do.
Who do we got?
I'm bad at pronouncing his name. Well, you're better at pronouncing his name than I am.
We got Heber. We got Heber Pampelon from Kickin' Valentina. That is Angel's band right there.
Yeah, and that music turns me on.
Absolutely. That music turns everybody on. And as a closing little fun little thing, Angel, why don't you tell the fans what you like about Kickin' Valentina and how you got into them? Because I think you got into them because of the Metal Summit.
The Metal Summit. Yeah, we had episode back in September 30th that we had Kickin' Valentina on. And I just simply got into them. I like the song title Freak Show that they had for, at the time, the new song. And then they came out with Somebody New and just got into them. And, they were, music is part of healing.
Yes.
So when they came out, unfortunately, the album came out January 21st, 2021. And at the time, I was caring for my mom because she had cancer. Yeah. And Kim Sullivan sent me their CD, and that was like my escapism when she was in a hospital fighting cancer. Listening to that record was my escapism. I could play it loud in my car, and that was my escapism. Then when they came to performing live, Kim and I took a road trip. We saw them in Delaware at Bar 13. Then we drove to Maryland, and we saw them there, and that was just the best escapism. That's why I love that band so much, is the music. They were part of that healing process after my mom passed away. That's the music that just helped get me through it. And they're an awesome guys. They're the band that they hang out with the fans. They love the fans. They'll take pictures. They'll sign autographs and do shots with you. The first time I did a beer shotgun was with DK.
Yes, our beloved DK.
I still got. So what is there not to love about Kickin' Valentina? They're what I call an old-fashioned rock and roll band. What I mean by that is they don't really throw power ballads at you. They don't throw depressing music. They don't cut their hair. They let their fucking hair grow. And they play rock music the way it's supposed to be fucking played. Loud and apologetic. And I can't wait for the new record in March or April. Yeah, I think April.
Absolutely, for sure. So fans, we will go over all of this in detail tomorrow. We've got Heber on the show. We'll talk about the Kickstarter, the album, the tour, all that fun stuff. So make sure that you guys are checking it out. and rocking out to it. We are very, very excited. We are super duper stoked. But Angel, check this out.
It's at 9:30. Yeah, 9:30.
Yep, absolutely. So Angel and the team has been very, very gracious to me. My mom is coming back into town from Europe tomorrow. And I reached out to Heber. He was cool with it. I reached out to Angel. He was cool with it. 9:30 is the current start time for the Metal Summit, just simply so I can get my mom home safely.
Yes, and for the fans in the UK, that's 2:30 a.m. So that's last call for alcohol. If you can't sleep, watch us tomorrow night because they have a lot of fans in the UK. So that's 2:30 a.m. that we'll be on. So
yes,
take a nap, and so you can be up with us at 2:30 in the morning.
Totally, for sure. And to bring things all the way back around to the nature of this episode, we really want to thank Father Sebastiaan for his time. Unfortunately, it did get cut a little short. That was nobody's fault. But the fact of the matter is the safety of our guests is me and Angel's primary concern. So when Father mentioned that he was having an issue, Angel and I were more than happy to let him do his thing. But this is actually very cool. When the episode was live and I shared it, and I tagged the bands, we got a like from the Endless Night Vampire Ball, which is the band, which is the event, like I said, that Father did found. So very, very cool. So if that was a like from Father himself, we really appreciate him. But if he does have people that are covering his social medias, thank you guys so much for the support. We really, really appreciate that. But
yes,
Angel
we
and I are going to let you guys go for the evening. We're going to let you guys rock out and just kind of get a little bit of rest. But we are going to be right back with you in 24 hours with Heber, Kickin' Valentina. We're going to get our freak show on. We're going to talk about somebody. We don't know who that is, but we're going to talk about somebody. But we really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much on behalf of the Metal Summit. Thank you so much to Father Sebastiaan for taking some time out. We are going to have him in the very, very near future. I will talk to him, see what works great for him, and we will get him back, talk about his books, talk about everything we didn't get into this evening. But Metal Summoners, we love you guys to death. We're also going to let, other side. There we go. Our beloved Angel get home safely as well. And we really, really appreciate you guys. See you guys in 24 hours. We appreciate you guys. On behalf of Angel Alamo, for Bobby Dreyer at BobbyDreyer.com, Psycho Steve at Psycho Steve on Facebook, and at PsychoStevePresents.com. Make sure that you're checking out Angel at Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram. You can also find him on Facebook as well. You can also catch me right here at Instagram, just a R&R Junkie, and you can find me on Facebook as well. You guys take care. We love you. We're going to rock out. We're going to have a great time in 24 hours. Horns up for Father Sebastiaan. Fangs out for Father Sebastiaan. Heber Pampelon coming out tomorrow for Kickin' Valentina. Thank you so much, Father. We appreciate you guys. We will talk to you.